Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making these chubby little aliens. You can leave them as they are, or you can turn them into a keychain, or you can just give them a little hanging loop like this one. I will be doing the video in the number 4 yarn for these two, but it is also tested in a number 6 Bernat blanket yarn if you want to try it in a bigger yarn. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you, but if you happen to get lost or aren't sure of what I'm doing, there will be a drop down for the first 30 seconds of every row with the pattern instructions that you can refer back to. And don't forget, if you like my video, please hit the subscribe button. Not only does that help me out, but it will also notify you every time I load a new video, and any likes and comments are also appreciated. I think that's everything, so grab your yarn and let's get started. Okay, we're going to begin with our starting loop, and you can make your ring any way you want, however you're used to starting, just as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1, which will be 12 single crochets. I just like to make a knot with a loop on the end as if you're going to be chaining. And I'm going to insert my hook, grab my yarn, pull up and through, and chain 1. And that does not count as a stitch. That is just to attach the yarn to the loop. And for round 1, we're going to do 12 single crochets into the loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I made my loop a little big, so I'm just going to take my tail that I crocheted over, I'm going to give that a pull, and that will tighten that hole up on the inside. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one, and for round 2 you're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. Oops. So 1 and an increase, 2 and 3, 4 and an increase, 5 and 6, 7 and an increase, 8 and 9, 10 and an increase, 11 and 12, 13 and an increase, 14 and 15, 16, and our last increase, 17 and 18. Row 3, we're going to do 2 single crochets, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. 1, 2, increase, 3 and 4, 5, 6, increase, 7 and 8, 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, 14, and an increase, 15 and 16, 17, 18, increase, 19 and 20, and our last one, 21, 22, and an increase, 23 and 24. Rows 4 to 6 is just going to be 24 single crochets all the way around, and that's 3 rows of 24, and I'm just going to do those consecutively and flip my marker every time I hit a set of 24. So 24 times 3 is 72, so I'm just going to go to 72. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So that's 1 row of 3 rows. Flip your marker if you're using one and keep on counting. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, so that's 2 rows of our 3 rows, 1 row left, keep on counting, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, and 72. Row 7, we're going to do the arms, and I'm going to do it nice and slow, and I will break down the pattern up across the top as we're doing it. So for row 7, we're going to start with 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to start the arm, so we're going to do 6 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in the second chain from your hook, so this loop on your hook doesn't count. This first V is your first chain, and then this next V is your second chain. So you're going to be going down in that second chain, and you're going to do 3 single crochets all in that same chain. 1, 2, 3. And then you should have 4 chains left, and you're going to slip stitch across. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll bring you back down to your piece. So this was your last stitch right here when you went up. This next stitch is where you're going to start, and you're going to do 12 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now you're going to do your second arm, so you're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And now going in that second chain, so 1, 2, you're going to do your 3 single crochets in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 slip stitches across the chain. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to go back into your body, I guess. So that was your last stitch right there where you chained up. So you're going to go over into the next stitch, and you should have 6 single crochets left to finish the round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And before we go any further, I just want to mention a lot of times people are crocheting on what most consider the wrong side. So if you're crocheting like this and you just went around and put your arms in, when you go to do this next row, your arms are going to end up on the inside. So if you have your project and then your hook, this is the wrong side, unless you plan it that way. So flip your work the other way around. So you're seeing these round rows going around instead of this kind of baskety weave stitch. And then it should be you, your hook, and then your work behind that. Okay, row 8, we're just going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that brings us to the last stitch before we did our arm. So we're behind this stitch, and now we want to go over and around and get behind this stitch. So here's the V of this stitch, the V of this stitch, and we want to be behind it in here. Only we got to go around the arm, so we bend that out of the way and then get behind that stitch. So that's 7, and pull that tight if you need to. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, and that should bring us to the last stitch in front of the leg. So now again, we're going to go over behind this next stitch, so right in there, but we got to go pull the arm forward and go around into that stitch. So that's 19. Pull that tight if you need to. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 9, we're going to do 2 single crochets and 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 18. So 1, 2, and a decrease for 3, 4, 5, and a decrease for 6. Make sure you get in the right stitches. 7, 8, and a decrease for 9, 10, 11, and a decrease for 12, 13, 14, and a decrease for 15, 16, 17, and our last decrease for 18. Row 10 is just going to be 18 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. All right, row 11, we're going to do the toes, and I'll do that just like we did the arm row, in sections with the pattern up at the top as we're going along. So for row 11, we're going to start off with 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and you should be somewhere just below the arm here. And then we are going to do what I like to call a puff stitch, and then I say of how many times I do it, so it will be a puff stitch of 3. So for the first one, you're going to yarn over, you're going to go into that next stitch, grab your yarn, and pull up. And that's 1 time. So we're going to do it another time. So yarn over, in through the same stitch, grab your yarn, pull out and up. So that's twice. And we're going to do that 1 more time. Yarn over, into that same stitch, grab your yarn, pull through and up. And that was 3 times. So now we're going to grab our yarn, and we're going to pull it through all the loops on the hook. And if you don't get it the first try, it's a lot easier to undo the whole thing down to this last single crochet and then restart instead of trying to figure out what piece you missed or got caught on. Okay, so that's 1 puff. We need 2 more, so our next one, yarn over and in, grab your yarn and up. So that's 1, we'll do it a 2nd time, and a 3rd time, and then pull through all the loops. So that's 2 toes, and same thing for the 3rd toe. Once, twice, and 3 times, and then pull through all the loops. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets across, 1, and push those toes out if you need to, 2, and now we're going to do 3 more puffs. So that's once, twice, and 3 times, and then grab your yarn and pull through all those loops. That was 1 toe. So for our 2nd toe, once, twice, and 3 times. Grab your yarn and go through all the loops. So that's 2 toes. We need 1 more toe. So 1 more puff. 1, 2, and 3. And grab that yarn and go through all those loops. And now we should have, I think, 4 single crochets left. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that gets us back to the end of our row. All right, for row 12, we're going to be going in the back loops. So if you've never gone in the back loops before, we usually go under here through both of the V's. When you're doing your back loop, you're going to go down in the middle of that V and then out through the back. And then you're not going to touch these front loops, and it's going to make kind of a little line all the way around that will help your guys stand up straight and not kind of be tipsy and roll over. All right, so for row 12, in the back loops, you're going to do 1 single crochet 1 decrease. Repeat that all the way around for a total of 12. So make sure you're going down in the middle and out. 1 and a decrease for 2, 3, and a decrease for 4, 5. Make sure you're getting in the right stitches here, and a decrease, oops, for 6, 7, and a decrease for 8, 9, and a decrease for 10, 11, and a decrease for 12. All right, we're going to add some eyes and a face and stuff this guy up here before we close him up. Okay, for the eyes, you are going to go 1 row above the arm, and then you're going to go about 4 holes to the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you want to be just kind of at the inside of that toe. There might be 1 over, but we'll just check when we do this side. So you're going to go just above the arm. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're just inside that toe. And I think that is about where I want them. You can put yours obviously wherever you want. If you put them another row higher, you'll have a little bit more room for the mouth if you want it to be a little lower. But this is where I've decided I like them, so I'm going to put my backs on now. Just listen for them clicks. There's some good clicks there. Then you're going to grab some black yarn or whatever color you want to use for the mouth. And what you're going to do is you're going to come up here just under the eye. You're going to go over and match that just over here. And then you're going to come up 1 row down from where you went in. All right, so we're going to go up just under the eye there. Leave a little bit of thread hanging down so you can tie it later. Then you're going to go over and kind of match that stitch on this side. So just under the eye. My stitches are just a touch funny there, but I guess that's what's happening. And then you want to come up this center stitch right here, 1 row down from where you've been. I got black yarn there in my way. So it's going to look like this. You got your mouth straight across, and you've come up just under in the next row. And then you're going to go under that strand that you use for the mouth, and you're going to pull it down, and there's your little smile. I might have to change where that went, I think. It'll be okay, I guess. I just got to get it tighter. And then you're going to go back in where you just came out, and that'll hold that piece down, and then you just give it a tie. Try and get nice and close to the inside there, if you can find it. It's a little tricky because we went so far, but I always like to see what it looks like when it's almost done, not try and guess when I'm halfway. All right. Then you're going to grab some pink if you want to put some cheeks on. Now you're going to come under the eye, but one stitch over from where your mouth is. So right there, pull just till you have a little tail hanging. And then you're going to go over one stitch and you're going to wrap the pink around that one stitch. I'm going to do it 2 times. So 1 and then going back in makes 2. And then I'm going to come out and do the exact same thing on the other side. 1 stitch over from where I have the mouth. And then go over 1 more stitch to come back in and around. So that's 1, and going back in makes 2. And then I'm going to come out the bottom. And there's our 2 little cheeks. And then you're going to tie that on the inside as well. Don't tie this one too tight because there will be a little bit of stretch along there when you stuff it. And you don't want to pull your cheeks right tight so you can't see them. Give that a cut, and then grab your stuffing. Now if you're doing the bigger plush, well, depending on what shape you want, you'll want to kind of make your stuffing go to the sides a little bit, unless you want it to be tall. When I originally made him, before I had his antennas on, I almost was making him a cactus. So if you see a cactus in here, you could also be making a cactus with this pattern. I might do that later on, we'll see. Because really those antennas don't do the big plush one much. It's cute, but I don't know how. I'm pretending it's an alien, that's what it's going to be. Well, same with these guys, I guess. They don't really look like aliens. I just thought they were cute. And I'm just building up on one pattern I made a year or 2 ago. All right. So once you have that stuffed how you want it, make sure it's nice and full in the back, because with these feet it will want to kind of tip backwards, and that seems okay. So let's grab our hook again. And for row 13, we are just going to do 6 decreases. And we're back going under through our loops normal. So just 6 decreases. So 1 decrease. 2 decreases. 3 decreases. 4 decreases. 5 decreases. and 6 decreases. And then you're just going to slip stitch in the next stitch and tie that off and give it a cut, leaving a bit of a tail, because if you want to make a hook up here out of yarn like this one, you're going to need a little bit extra to go up there. I'm going to get rid of our stitch marker and find a darning needle. And you're just going to weave in and out around the top loops of the last row. You just, what did I just do there? Oh, somehow. So just back and forth. If you're using the plush yarn, maybe go through 3, pull it, and then go through the other 3 or 4, however it ends up. And then you're going to give that a pull. And then you're going to give it 1 tie, 2 if you're finishing right now on the bottom and not making a tie up top. So if you're going to be going up the top, you're going to go down through the center, and then you're going to come up through your beginning loop. Oh, that one went easy. Usually I can't find it that quick. And then now you can either chain, and well, you can leave it like this. You can make a chain and then tie it and knot it down here, or you can grab another long piece of yarn, fold it down in and through one of these stitches. Not fold it, stitch it in there, so you have, so if this was your stitch, it's coming up like this, and then you can braid the 3 pieces. What's happening to my camera here? Don't know. Is that everything? We need to do the antennae. All right, so I'll just grab a little chunk. And just fold it in half. I'm not sure if this is the easiest way or not, but this is how I'm going to show you. So you want this folded over inside your needle like this. And then you're just going to find your center, and you're going to go under one of those stitches in the front in your first loop. And you're going to pull that through just enough that you get that front loop, and don't pull out these little tails on the end, or you're going to have to do it again. So you want it to look like this. Your 2 ends and your loop, and then you're just going to grab those ends through your loop. Nice and evenly pull them up. And then about 2 fingers high, you're going to tie a knot. Anything higher, they're probably not going to stand up. You can try doing a chain, or if you want to do like the arms a bit, that's almost a perfect shape even actually for an antenna. And sew them on. I'm just trying to do the quickest, easiest for this one, because if you're making a ton of them, then you want to have it a little easier. So, and then I just kind of pull and push down that knot, just so that, because when you pull it's going to go up. So just kind of so they're even. And then once you have them where you want them, you're just going to cut the top off. And then they should stand up. So So there we go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, to hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment or a thumbs up. And hope you guys have a great day. Be safe and happy crocheting.